Roll with us here tonight. My name is David Muse, of course, the Disaster Program Manager for Southern Vermont, and with me is Kathy Fleming, who is a volunteer out of Southern New Hampshire, as well as a ERV instructor, among many other things. So Kathy and I are going to be bringing you folks through this presentation tonight. Mike, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Excellent. Mike's the only one with picture right now. So you folks won't need picture. If for some reason you do have any questions, there's a chat box right on the left-hand side. Feel free to go ahead and type any questions you may have. What I'm doing right now is sharing my screen with you folks, so you should be able to see my screen right now, and that's how we're going to actually go through the PowerPoint presentation. So like I said, at any given time, if you have any questions, feel free to jot them into the chat window, and we're going to ready, set, roll ourselves right into this program here. So, oops, slideshow from beginning. All right, so welcome to Ready, Set, Roll. You're in for a treat tonight. The benefit to this program in tonight's presentation is that you folks have already been through 99% of this material. This course itself was designed before all the individual components that you've already completed. Things like basic food safety, defensive driving, the new next generation ERV training. So you're going to see a lot of kind of repeat material, but it's going to allow us to move a lot faster through this presentation. I've got to jump off of this presentation around 7, so Kathy will be definitely taken over by then. So we're going to roll right into it here. So learning objective is to identify and use all ERV equipment appropriately. Explain the term integrated service delivery, as well as describe safe food handling procedures. Again, those are all key points that you folks have pretty much already covered in a lot of the other training. Describe how the dissemination and collection of information provides quality service to clients, very important, as well as explaining proper maintenance requirements and procedures for the ERVs or emergency response vehicles. How this course is organized, there's 6 segments. There is a course review, and what I did, we decided to send out the YouTube videos, the links, instead of present the videos to you tonight. When you get a chance, please go on in your spare time, watch the videos in your own leisure or at your own leisure, and you know, just kind of brush up on those. I'll warn you all right now, the videos are a little dated, to say it nicely, but they're a great review, and if you watch them before our testing date on August 12th, I am confident, as well as the other instructors here, that everybody will get through the testing portion with no problem. As a reminder, on August 12th, we're going to have our ERV orientation as well as the road test up in the White River Junction area. Please let me know as soon as possible if for some reason you don't think you're going to be able to make those dates. We did make it a requirement for this training because we're trying to keep everybody together and moving through at the same time. But I understand life happens and gets in the way. So if anything big pops, please let us know. Basically, what we're looking to do there is divide up the class. There's actually 16 or 17 participants in the program. We're looking to have the first 8 come in the morning and the second half kind of come in the afternoon. I'll be sending out more instructions, but you're not going to be there for the whole day. You'll be there probably from 9 a.m. to noon, and then probably 1 to 4, kind of as a buffer here, if not a little sooner. Get you out sooner, but don't expect that you'll be in White River all day. Road test requirements. When you come to the testing date on August 12th, we ask that you bring your valid driver's license and a copy of the Ready, Set, Roll Participants Workbook. If that's something you want to download, or you can bring a digital copy, it's a great reference material to have. You can, put it on your iPad or your Kindle or your phone or whatever. This way, if you have any questions or you want to take notes, it'll give you the ability to do that as you're going through and seeing kind of the ERVs and getting your hands on them and getting a feel for them and whatnot. So, meeting the requirements overall to be an ERV driver through Red Cross, you have to be 21, you have to have a valid driver's license, you have to have a clean driving record, current first aid and CPR certification, pass the road test, and complete the defensive driving course. Again, we're going to verify that all that stuff is complete and in your file before that August 12th test date. If you have any courses pending, I know a couple of people owe me a couple of things like a copy of First Aid CPR or the Defensing Driving certificate. Please email that to me as soon as possible so I can upload it to your records and you'll be all set. Otherwise, thank you to the folks that completed it on time. Maintaining requirements. So after you all get through this and are certified ERV drivers, the only things you'll need to do is maintain current first aid and CPR card, as well as upload a copy of your renewed driver's license to Volunteer Connection when it expires. So if you don't know, your driver's license do expire. New Hampshire's every 4 or 5 years, I think, and I'm not sure on Vermont. Tonight's course outline, segment 1 is the introduction to ERV. 2, we're going to talk about customer service. Segment 3, safe food handling. 4, maintenance and safety. 5, going out on an assignment. And segment 6, I actually took out because it's not very applicable. So, segment 1, introduction to the ERV. Typical uses of the ERV, as you all know, when most people think of the ERV or the emergency response vehicle, they associate it with feeding. Probably the #1 use of the ERV is feeding, but what I want you all to take away from this moving forward is that we can also use the ERV for a variety or a multitude of other things. The ERVs were really designed as a utility or a versatility vehicle for Red Cross and our mission. So when we talk about bulk distribution, when we talk about gathering of information for like disaster damage assessment, transportation, they really can be used for a wide range of things. So as you all go out and return to your local disaster action teams, know that we have a handful of ERVs here in the region and we can deploy them down to the scene of your fire or the scene of local flooding or what have you. They are resources that are available and you just have to submit the request and hopefully we can get the wheels turning. Right now, we have one ERV in Burlington, Vermont. We have one in Springfield, Vermont. We have one on the seacoast in New Hampshire, Portsmouth area. And we have what is called a SERV, or a Special Emergency Response Vehicle, which is an old retrofitted ambulance that essentially will do the same things that the ERV will do in the Manchester area. So again, when you return back to your teams, and you're out there on a cold, snowy night trying to do client casework and you need a place to get out of the elements and get your clients safe and comfortable, we can send an ERV to you. It just takes time. So as soon as you think you need it, let us know and we'll get the wheels turning. ERVs are great too because they're all logoed. They have our colors. They have our symbol. Really, from an outreach perspective, it allows us to have kind of a presence in the community. ERVs also have a great deal of room in the back. We've used them as command posts before where you can, put 4, 5, 6 people in the back and have kind of standing working room, another great use, as well as a supply vehicle. Each of the old ERVs carry 2 pallets as well as the new ERVs, if I'm not mistaken. But that's something we can talk about the day of the training. Again, I mentioned having a logoed vehicle in different communities, really powerful stuff, so having public visibility. And also using the ERVs for disaster exercises and drills is really good. It shows our partners what resources that we have available at our disposal and allows us to, kind of practice how we play in terms of mobilizing different resources and using our equipment that otherwise might not be used. Commitment of the ERV team. The shared commitment of the ERV team is to provide information, food, or other needed supplies to the people affected by disaster. Very versatile mission, all encompassing there, if you ask me, as far as what we, the American Red Cross, do or are able to do. So, don't think of yourself as just, a driver. Don't think of yourself as just somebody that distributes food, but we used our ERV a couple weeks ago up in Thetford, Vermont. We needed some pallets of water dropped off, so we used the ERV for that. We've used them for high visibility events and parades, tabling events. We've used them for client casework. There's really, again, there's a wide versatility. I've used them as a command post. Really a lot of uses there. So key activities: deliver and serve safe, nutritious food and beverage. Provide information to clients or Red Cross services and local resources. I want you all to imagine if there's a disaster-affected area and the power's down, local cell towers are down, how are people getting the information that they need to be connected with resources? And one of the best ways we can do that is roll into a community with our ERVs, with information that is shared by community partners, and disseminate that information to folks. It really goes a long way. Those ERVs are like moving billboards, and we can really capitalize on that. Distribute relief items. Like I said, bulk distribution, drops of water, tarps, cleanup kits, you name it. We can put it in the back of the ERV and distribute it. And then collecting information from clients and assessing their need. It's really important when you folks are out there that you take the time to talk to the clients and really get a good sense of what their needs are. Do they need food? Do they need water? Is the power back on in their neighborhood? Really get a pulse, grab that information, and report that back up the chain of command. So you're also kind of the eyes and ears out there for Red Cross, because you're out there directly delivering services to our clients. Key activities: you want to make sure you're driving the ERV safely, keeping the ERV safe to drive by performing preventative maintenance, as well as keeping the ERV and its equipment clean and neat. Makes sense, right? 5 values of being an ERV member: think safety first, handle food safely, anticipate the customer's needs, provide and collect accurate information, and use resources wisely. A lot of common sense stuff right there. Fleet numbers, I thought it was kind of cool. You're not going to be tested on it, but each ERV is assigned a different number. It's a 4-digit number, and if that number starts with a 1,000, it's an East Coast ERV. If it's a 2,000, it's a Central ERV, and if it's a 3,000, it's a West Coast ERV. So sometimes on larger scale disasters, you'll see different numbered ERVs, and you can tell just by the number or the license plate where it's coming from. Things to keep in mind: human resource policy and procedures. Obviously, no smoking in the ERV, please and thank you. No drugs or alcohol in the ERV, and a violence-free work environment is pretty self-explanatory. So, wear only when you're out there in an ERV and on an ERV mission. We want to make sure that folks are wearing American Red Cross disaster vest or a polo or any other kind of identifying material that associates you with the Red Cross. Also, proper foot attire is very important. If you're serving food, if that's your mission, you want to make sure your hair's pulled back and neat. You're following the safe food guidelines and procedures there. Segment 2, customer service. Do you want to talk about customer service, Kathy? Go ahead. Yes, they can see us.
Perfect. Okay, customer service. Be dependable, professional, and responsive. You are the face of the Red Cross while you're out there. You might be the only person someone is seeing if you're on a large-scale disaster. So you want to make sure that you present the best possible front that you can. Customer service tips: maintain a positive, helpful attitude. Keep your ERV clean and neat. Do not eat or drink while serving. Make note of any disaster-caused needs in the area you visit. You're going to be referring this information back to your supervisor. It is extremely helpful. You are probably some of the only people out there seeing something, so bringing back information is a huge benefit for us when you come back with it. It's okay to say, I don't know, but always say, I will find out. Always disseminate accurate information. When we spoke to this last time, you only say what you know you can say, what information you know is accurate. Don't ever guess at something. Donations. Under no circumstances may American Red Cross disaster workers accept contributions or reimbursement for providing assistance at a disaster scene. If someone says they want to give you money, you can always direct them into the correct way to give money. You cannot accept anything while you're out on the disasters. Maintaining routes. Maintaining the designated route ensures you arrive on time, reassuring those who are recovering from disaster, and permits the ERV team to help the largest number of people. With the arriving on time, people will get used to you coming at a certain time, and they want to make sure you're maintaining your routes that we also know where you are, and the people who are serving know what time you're coming back. Alert the clients that you arrived, horn, backup alarm, lights, PA system. Serve the clients as a team. You have 2 people on your ERV usually. You have a greeter and you can have a server. And always think safety first. Okay. There are some different ways we do feedings. You have a fixed feeding, which is one site that is established. The mobile feedings, which are multiple sites with driving. And then the search and serve. Multiple areas, and you collect and track information. They may not have an idea of who they're serving in that area that you're being sent to, so you're going to be serving but also bringing back valuable information that's needed.
Demographics of the population?
That is true. It does bring back, well, this one gathers it too. No problem. With gathering reporting, you're doing utility outages, water shortages, disaster assessment, special food requirements, flooding, road closures, and ethnicity of area. And we do talk about that because of special needs due to certain areas of what the ethnic background is in different areas. So it does help out with us serving different kinds of food that might be needed, allergies that might be needed. It helps with them preparing the food for the next time you're going out to that area. Ask, do you have running water? Do you have electricity, food, roof leaking? Do you have water in your house? Are there any needs you have, and do you know of anyone else who might need Red Cross assistance? People will be the best givers of information for their neighbors, their whole neighborhood. They really know what's going on. So when you start talking to someone, run through all these questions where they may have running water, but do they know if their neighbors have running water? Because you might not be able to get to them. So it'll give you the fullest picture of what's happening in the area you're serving. Then providing information. What services Red Cross provides with addresses and phone numbers, what you have to offer, food, drinks, and information. And Red Cross assistance is free and a gift of the American people. I know I've had people ask me all the time if they have to pay us back or if something's going on. Always remind them that this is free from the American people. So offering alternatives, always show genuine concern, but always let people know where they can go and who they can speak to. And anticipating client needs. Assist with planning by complete the mobile feeding unit daily activity report and submit to your supervisor. I'm not really sure what that report looks like.
Yeah, we'll review the report the day of on the 12th. We'll show you what forms would need to be completed and sent back. But essentially, we want to know the number of clients that we serve so we can better forecast other feeding routes, and also report back to our donors and our emergency management partners as to how many folks receive services from us that day.
You doing segments, right?
Sure. Segment 3, safe food handling. Food Cambros, for anybody not familiar, Cambro is kind of a large plastic container. It keeps food, cold foods cold and hot foods hot as long as you take the time to temper the Cambros before. As far as tempering Cambros of note right now, in order to get a hot Cambro hot, you need to take boiling hot water and you literally just dump it in the Cambro, close the lid, fill it about a third of the way, and you just let it sit for about 15 or 20 minutes with the lid closed, and that hot water actually transfers the heat to the plastic in the container and allows for it to stay nice and hot. So right before you go to put your hot food in, what we do is you temper the Cambro, you dump the hot water out, and then you go ahead and you put your food in. We have what are called liners or Cambro liners. We don't put the food directly in the Cambro. This way it's a lot easier to clean. We put them in kind of like a plastic bag. So it creates a barrier. It makes the food a little safer, and it's also easier to clean on the back end. As far as tempering cold Cambros, say you're going to serve ice cream or something like that out of your Cambro, you want to fill it again about a third of the way full of ice water. Close the lid and let it sit again for about 15 or 20 minutes. Dump it, take a dry rag, dry it out, and then put your cold food in. It goes a long way, and as everybody remembers from the food safety course, you want to kind of follow that rule of 4s, either under 40 degrees or over 140 degrees for no more than 4 hours. That's a safe bet right there. 6 herbs can feed approximately 300 to 400 people, which is pretty amazing. When you think about it, each one of those herbs, if you fill it up, it's about 73 pounds or upwards of 73 pounds. So make sure you're using a partner. You're going through your lifting using safe lifting and handling techniques. We don't want you to throw your back out or get injured. All of the Cambros come with solid or hinged lids, and can contain wrapped or bulk type foods. One of the best examples, we use a Springfield herb a lot. There's a Subway right next to the herb. I'll ask the team down there to temper the Cambros for cold sandwiches. We'll call up Subway. They'll make 100, individually 6-foot wrapped subs, and we'll put them right in the Cambros. Sometimes we'll kind of cheat a little. We'll put some ice on the bottom or put ice in a trash bag, tie it up, kind of make a little ice bed on the bottom, and then put the sandwiches on top because we don't need the space, so we have plenty of room. And again, it kind of acts as a cooling agent. Make sure there's barriers there, though, plastic on plastic or something like that. This way the food and the sandwiches aren't getting soggy. Requires 2 inches of airspace at the top, so don't fill your Cambros to the brim if you have mashed potatoes or something like that. You want to make sure there's at least 2 inches of airspace at the top when it's filled. This way we're not overfilling it. It gives you room to serve, as well as it allows the air to properly circulate and maintain either hot or cold temperatures. We have drink or beverage Cambros, and they keep cold drinks cold and hot drinks hot. Who would have thought? 6 of these Cambros can serve approximately 400 drinks. Looking at the weight, 17 pounds empty, approximately 63 pounds full. General rule of thumb, brown Cambros are for coffee and tea, and blue are other liquids. You might have a Gatorade, Powerade, lemonade type thing going on. Handling the Cambros, handle with extreme care. Please take care not to pierce the insulation wall and report broken or lost parts. When these herbs get deployed nationally, almost always they never come back with the equipment they initially went out with. So if you're out there on a national deployment and you see really good Cambros and nice new material, try to steal it and bring it back to our region. Kind of, sort of. If you can get the good stuff and bring it back, that's always great. But if not, if somebody tries to hand you something that's broken or damaged, it's your job before you demobilize to bring that to the attention and get it rectified. One of our herbs came back without a GPS. I mean, that's a couple $100 right there. So, there's issues. But essentially, if you're driving an herb back, please make sure all the equipment's operational, it's functional. You'll be tired, you'll be irritable, you want to come home. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure we have the herb in a serviceable condition and it has all the equipment that it needs. Stacking your Cambros, stack on the driver's side or the street side. Secure them with cargo straps. We don't want anything to go anywhere. We're going to put the fullest, the most filled, I don't know the proper grammar there, but we're going to put the ones that are full on the bottom, the heaviest on the bottom. This way they're not weighing other ones down, and top heavy ain't going to roll. Food Cambros are no more than 3 high. Drink Cambros we're not going to stack. They sit a lot taller, so we're not going to stack them more than 2 high. Think before you lift. Should I be lifting this? What's the best way ergonomically to lift it? Again, we don't want people throwing out their backs or anything like that. Stocking the herb, you're not going to be tested on this. Most herbs have 6 5-gallon beverage Cambros. They should have 6 24-quart food Cambros, 12 polycarbonate pans with lids. Standard spoodle, which is one of my most favoriteest words. It's kind of, if anybody's ever been to KFC, it's that spoodle.
What's a spoodle?
Spoodle, fork-like.
It's a spoon something.
Fork-like spoodle. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's equipment that will be sent with the herb that you can use to serve people food. Again, you're not going to be tested on this, but ideally this is what all the herbs should be coming back or demobilizing with. Herb payload capacity, never exceed the capacity indicated on the driver's door frame data plate. So if you go out to a nice steak dinner or something, you eat too much, don't overload the herb, okay? Walk it off and then get in. Safety first. Driver is not considered part of the payload. Oh, never mind. I guess you can eat all the steak dinners you want. Other herb team members, equipment, and supplies must be included in the weight for payload purposes. Safe food handling, you all have already taken this course. Follow the rule of 4 and you'll be safe. Under 40, over 140 for no more than 4 hours, please. We will be working with local public health departments to ensure appropriate and safe food handling. If people start getting sick from the food that we're eating, we're really failing in our mission. So we take it seriously, washing your hands, wearing gloves, following appropriate protocol there. Cleaning the ERV, exterior, wash frequently as needed. Use manual car wash or wash by hand. Make sure your windows are closed and secured. Antennas are tied down and ERV has enough height clearance. Height's a really big one. Sometimes people forget about how tall or large these ERVs are, and that can end badly. So just keep that in mind moving forward. When washing the vehicle by hand, use soap for the exterior automotive cleaning. Never use dish detergent. You want to use sponges, soft brushes, dry cloths, clean running water, and hose with spray attachment, never a power washer. If anybody saw me in Concord power washing the Springfield ERV a couple weeks ago, it wasn't me. No, I mean, they get bugs on them and stuff, and we want to make sure they're clean, and nobody wants to see a Red Cross ERV roll in that's going to serve them dinner all covered with smashed bugs on it, whatever. So we take the time to clean it off, please. Important to remember, use a car vacuum to clean the exterior electrical outlet area. Never run water up into the exhaust pipe. These are just natural selection things. Test the brakes carefully and store cleaning supplies in the outside tool storage area. We want to make sure chemicals and stuff aren't being kept where the food's kept. Interior designed for easy cleaning. Most of them are diamond plated, metal. So they clean up very nice and easily. During the assignment, the food area must be cleaned daily. Absolutely. When washing the interior, hose with the spray attachment, never a power washer. Use a broom, mop, bucket, and non-abrasive brushes. All-purpose cleaner, separate cleanser for vinyl surfaces, the countertop area and whatnot. Vinyl protecting and conditioning products, furniture preserving product, chrome if you want to go crazy and polish all the chrome, feel free. Cleaning the ERV, follow cleaning product directions. If an all-purpose cleaner is not available, use a 2% bleach solution or ammonia. Probably not recommended. Avoid vinyl surfaces and electrical panels, and never mix bleach and ammonia, in case you didn't know. To clean and sanitize. See, this is so much more than an ERV training. It's just basic all around. Good life training right here with Dave and Gappy. To clean and sanitize, remove leftover contents, disassemble, thoroughly wash all parts with food safe cleanser and a soft brush, and never use abrasive cleaners in the Cambros. Leftover food, this is a big one. Say they send you on a route and they anticipate 400 people are going to be there and you only serve 200 meals, so you got 50% of your food sitting there. It's over the 4-hour window. It's not good anymore. Be careful about disposing it. Go back to your supervisor. Ask them what the appropriate food disposal process is here. We don't want people to get the wrong message that we're throwing food away or wasting food or anything like that. And all it takes is one ERV crew like backing up to a dumpster and just dumping the food in there, and somebody from the media seeing it and just having a field day. So really just kind of be mindful of where you're going in getting rid of this. It says that you're supposed to dump bleach on the food in one of these slides, but just again, talk to your supervisor, figure out how they want the extra food disposed of. It happens, unfortunately. Segment 4, maintenance and safety, and I'm going to jump off this call and leave you in with Gabby.
I was going to let you unmute them so I can hear them.
Oh.
And then I'll let you go. Let them go crazy. They're mine now.
No questions. They're all still here, too. That's good.
That's good. Unmute
we haven't scared them away yet.
There you go. Okay. Now just the presentation. Cool.
Okay. From current side. Thank you. Goodbye.
Save yourselves. Go ahead. I've unmuted you all, so if you do have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And Dave can go do what he had to do. So we're covering maintenance and safety. General safety rules. Always observe posted speed limits. We will not pay for any speeding tickets. I don't know why people think we would. It's as if you're driving normally in your everyday life. Wear your seatbelt. Check fluids each time you fuel. Check warning indicator lights. Secure all items. You'll see that when we go over some of the ERVs of how to secure them the best ways. Each ERV is a little bit different. Know the vehicle height and load capacity. As Dave said, people have had problems with the vehicle heights. So it is something to keep an eye on. And always use a wheel chalk when stationary. And you'll see that during training. It will be going over when we're doing the testing, so you can actually see exactly what we're talking about. Never drive if you are tired through water above the bottom of the wheel rim, and if you know there's a defect in the vehicle. If you are tired is a really big one. You'll see in the slides, and we go over how many hours you can drive, how many miles they look to drive. Definitely use your team to switch off driving. It is extremely tiring. The job is extremely tiring, and if you're driving into a disaster, it can be really tiring, so we always just talk about self-care. Make sure you're taking care of yourself first so that you know your limitations. Preventive maintenance includes weekly, semi-annual, annual, and operational inspections, which do take place wherever the ERV is housed. Reduces direct costs for repairs and possible accidents, and reduces indirect costs associated with paperwork and downtime. These are the inspection sheets. Before you begin, turn off the engine, remove the key before opening the hood. Again, all of these are on this presentation because it has happened before. Place a vehicle in park and a chalk behind the driver's side rear wheel. We will go over that in training. That is really important about where you're placing it. Let the engine cool before checking the fluids and belts. Keep hands and fingers away from the radiator fan. Again, all of these have happened. That's why they're in the slides now. On the oil, check the level every time ERV is fueled. Keep a log to determine rate of consumption. Do not rely on engine oil light to come. It may be too late. We cover all of these. As we're going through each ERV, you will see the newer next generation ERVs, which I know you guys have seen, and I'll be bringing up the SERV, which is a retrofitted ambulance, so it is a little bit different. If you do go on a large deployment, you will see a lot of different ERVs. So just get really comfortable. Your ERV may switch day to day. Just be really flexible, but it is just to know the basics of what you're driving. Engine coolant, check levels. Never loosen or remove a radiator cap on a hot or warm engine. Switch the engine off to obtain accurate reading, and follow ERV owner's manual suggestions for adding coolant. Tires, unsafe tires. We always check the tires, even if you're doing a local disaster. If you ever see it, always kind of check the tires. We have, screws, and you drive in places locally, nationally, regionally, in places that you'll have stuff get stuck in the tires a lot. So it's definitely one of kind of the touchy subjects. We've had it a lot, so I always tell people to check them. If they're too small for the vehicle, show tire cord through sidewall cuts, have loose threads, have sidewall bulges, have little or no tread. That should be being picked up in the maintenance, but it is helpful for everybody to kind of be on board with that and checking. Always adapt vehicle speed to traffic, weather, and road conditions. Capability is reduced when wet or icy, obviously. Do not ride the brakes. Anti-lock brakes require steady pressure. Do not pump the brakes. You will have a chance to try out a couple different ERVs when we're doing the testing, so you can see what each of them. Fueling. Fill up at the end of your run. Wear gloves, gasoline in the gasoline ERVs, diesel in the diesel ERVs. Never drive a diesel ERV when fueled with gasoline. You will see different ERVs obviously take different fuel, and it is just a reminder of knowing the vehicle that you're getting into, if it is not the one you brought down, that you do know more about. Road safety. Seat belts. 5 staff limit for short runs only. In the ERVs, they have different seating arrangements. Tops, you can have 5 staff for if you have to move people around, but it is not for long runs. It's only to get them from point A to point B. Backing up and hand signals. We will cover this a lot when you're doing the testing, and we go over all of this. Height and size of the ERV, again, we'll go over that, and road conditions and water hazards. And we will show you where you're marking it on the ERVs of not to go into. Again, some water can be quite deceiving of how deep it is. So we do have you avoiding all that. If you think there's a problem, we want you to be safe. So there are things we just don't want you to go through. Two-way radio. Pre-programmed to the proper frequency. Keep it on at all times. Monitor when you're on duty, and operates off the truck battery. So if the vehicle's running when you're doing a serving, you can usually talk back and forth to base. You can talk back and forth to supervisors. You can have other ERV drivers on it. You can kind of get a pulse on what's happening. Or if there's any questions, it gives you a direct line so you can talk to people, and you can also hear if there's any messages coming out using the radio. To speak, press the microphone button. Each one is going to be a little bit different, so to listen, obviously, release the microphone button. Keep the microphone about an inch from your mouth. Speak clearly. You cannot transmit and receive at the same time. And turn radio off to prevent battery drain. You're not going to be using the radio if you are not stationary. So usually we'll try to use cell phones if there's cell phones are still working. It can be used, obviously, in an emergency. Breakdowns and moving violations. Never attempt to change a tire yourself. Use warning markers if a breakdown occurs. We'll show you in each ERV where it is. Each one is a little bit different. Assume responsibility for moving violations. As I mentioned, they are yours to keep. And when in an accident, complete the accident reporting kit. It will go into an accident. Usually moving violation, and especially an accident, requires immediate reporting to your supervisor. So those are big ones. You obviously have to report it right away. Standard equipment includes basic safety and service items. Do not permanently mark with local identification, because as Dave said, he wants them. Must remain interchangeable with other vehicles. As I had mentioned, depending on what level you're thinking of going out as an ERV driver, that you may not be driving the same ERV every day. You may not even be coming home with the same ERV every day. It's a national resource, so it is going to be used where it needs to be used. So it is kind of going back to always be flexible and be familiar with and know how to properly use all items. If you are switching, there's always people around you can ask, supervisor especially, but also other ERV drivers. If there's a question and you are in a group of people, please ask them if there's something you don't know about, and they will be able to give you a lot of answers. Segment 5, going on assignment. We do DAT responses, local and regional drills and exercises, and local, multi-chapter, and large DRO assignments. 3 stages of notification. You will see this in the videos that were sent out. Like you said, I'm not sure what year they're from, but there's the alert, the standby, and the activation. The alert will be the disaster. If you say, yes, I'm available to go and I want to go on this DRO or whatever's going on, they'll put you on standby, and then obviously when the activation comes, you are on your way. Traveling to a relief operation. Think safety first, maintain pace of 500 to 600 miles a day, and never drive more than 10 to 12 hours a day per team. I know people are always in a rush to get down and help out, but you are not safe when you are that tired. Do not convoy with other ERVs. We don't recommend this. It will happen sometimes if people are leaving the same area and heading back to New England or something. You kind of end up in a convoy, but we don't usually have that. Notify your contact person when you stop for the night. People want to know where you are. We want to know that you're safe. We want to know if you need anything. And usually we'll have a contact person, so that's why we always ask that you notify the person if you broke down, if you need to stop for the night, if something is going on in your schedule, they want to know. And be flexible. I think this is the biggest one, being flexible on things will change the minute you get to a disaster, and we want it to be really great experience for you and really be able to help as many people as you can and not to frustrate everybody with the changes. So the more flexible you can be, the better time you're going to have in working this process. And then the working the in process yourself and the vehicle. If you are driving in, you might be driving an ERV into a disaster, or you might also be flying in and being on the ERV during disaster. So you obviously won't be in processing it. Know your immediate supervisor and to contact him or her. You should be given this before you even leave. It might change, so be flexible, but you should have a contact that you can reach at any time. Know your work location and how to get there and alternative routes. The work location might change. We had a couple people go to California and the shelter changed mid kind of them deploying. So it can change, and alternative routes. Roads change really quickly, conditions change really quickly. Know how you're going to get there. You don't want to get yourself into a bad situation. And then record the number of meals and snacks taken on board and served in return using the feeding control form. Again, this is something we use locally and regionally, so we know snacks, how many are going in, going out, how many we need, how many we've used. just for inventory control, and to know, obviously, people have seen the reports of how many people are you serving, and it kind of everybody needs that control. Working with the media. When approached, you can refer them to public affairs when they're available, your supervisor or a more experienced team member. Tell the reporter your area of expertise and what you are comfortable talking about. Limit your interview to only that which you are doing on this relief operation. Do not speak about anybody else, what they're doing, and we don't talk about any other operations going on. You are just speaking to what you are currently working on and what you are working on. We don't speak for other people. Refer to printed talking points, key messages, and most recent news media release for recent statistics. Again, some people are more comfortable with this than others. So if you do feel comfortable, I'm trying to see the next slide. Okay. Before the interview, ask the interviewer what he or she will be asking. Ask them ahead of time so you know how you are going to answer them. If there's something you do not feel comfortable talking about, just tell them, I'm not going to answer that question, or I'm not comfortable answering that question. You have every right to ask them what they're going to ask you. You have every right to stop the interview. You want to get out what you're doing on this operation, but if you're not comfortable, no one has a problem with that. Once you know the questions, call public affairs at the release operation headquarters. Where proper Red Cross identification, we obviously want to have the best representation of people that are doing such a great job and wearing the Red Cross identification. Obviously, no gum, food, drink, or smoking while doing an interview. During the interview, it's me, everyone, do and do not information and assistance. So I'm just going to touch back on that one. I am not a big fan of the interview, so I usually pass it off to someone that's much more capable than I am speaking, because I have gotten kind of tied up and they kind of switched up the question. So just be really comfortable talking to them, and some people do it really well, and I commend you, and go forward and you can speak to them, because I will kind of run the other direction. When you leave the relief operation, thoroughly clean, sanitize, and service the ERV and all equipment, which is one full day usually before you're leaving. Again, if you are leaving the operation, taking the vehicle back with you. Report for final inspection. Out-process yourself in the vehicle. Notify the chapter of travel plans and estimated time of arrival, and obtain travel funds. You will see what's usually in the vehicles. We'll show you the day of training, the day of driving, what's usually kept in the vehicle, so you have a good idea of, what you're going to be using for gas and all those sort of things. And the biggest one, notifying chapter of travel plans, is you can decide in your chapter who would want to know that information, probably your captain or your DPM, just so we know when to expect you if something's gone wrong, kind of your travel route, again, just to make sure you're safe. And I think that is the end. Yes, maintenance and safety. There wasn't anything after maintenance and safety. Nope. There was run wild after maintenance and safety. All right.
That was it.
I don't see any more. Wait, right. Do you have section 5?
It was, wasn't it? You did all.
Yes.
This one too?
Yes.
Okay. That's it.
Oh, there they are.
All right.
Unmute them. Let's see what they're doing.
Unmuted. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's ready, set, roll in about, 45 minutes. Does anybody have any questions?
They're still muted.
No, they're unmuted. They're muted individually.
Oh.
They can hear us. Okay.
They're hiding from us.
Bev, do you have any questions or any follow-up? Christina Hammond, any questions or follow-up?
Not right now, thank you.
Perfect. Christina.
I had a question, but you answered it because we went through the PowerPoint.
Perfect.
So now do we have to do those review things, the review sections on the ERV?
Don't go crazy with it, no. If you want to, as a way to prep individually, go through the student manual and do that, that is entirely up to you. I would advocate to do it, but it's not going to be required homework. So if you're confident just watching the videos on YouTube and glancing through the material, I think that would be more than adequate, Christina. Great question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Carini, any questions or follow-up?
No, Dave, not right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. And we'll schedule a different day to get you tested out.
Right, I'll contact you about that. Or you can contact me, either way.
Okay, perfect. Mike Sampo, anything? I think that was a no. Tom, anything?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Good presentation.
Thank you. Bauer?
Nothing for me.
Excellent. And Harry, the final.
Yeah, nothing for me as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you all very much for taking the time to jump on this tonight. We'll be sending out some information about the August 12th test date, hopefully in the next week or two. And you all are doing a fantastic job with this, so I thank you all for that. It's not that this training is hard, it's just got a lot of moving parts to it. So thank you for being patient, thank you for taking the time to do it, and we look forward to the testing date on August 12th. So, this is Dave and Kathy signing off. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah.